Now, this is probably just a byproduct of everything sucking right now, but I miss my childhood, and I don't believe it's just nostalgia. We used to have these things called one-purpose devices, because, like, yeah, my phone can listen to music, make videos, browse the internet, rob my life with junk videos I don't remember, and yet I choose to change nothing about my habits to address. But back in my day, all of those things were on their own separate devices, and that was great. Look at my aunt's camcorder. This thing is older than me, but I don't feel compelled by the abundance of choice to stop what I'm doing, which is make a video, and constantly check it for something interesting the moment I am bored, because my focus is being violently ping-ponged around like this Tesla guy we saw speeding on I-76 and shifting lanes every 2 seconds. That's because there's nothing to ping-pong on with this. What I do feel like, though, is a film director, and it's fun. It looks like a camera, sounds like a camera, has all these cool buttons I can press, and I can lock in easier. It's like my son. I feel like I'm taking the little guy on an adventure when I'm going out to record. Meanwhile, what does this boring piece of shit inspire me with besides $200 in repair fees? Anyway, I really miss Frutiger Arrow, which is basically a term used to describe this glossy, shiny, nature meets technology and the world is in harmony, everything is nice type deal. I've always loved how it appealed to our senses as humans, like, ooh, shiny, ooh, nature, ooh, water. It's pleasant on like a spiritual level. I am happy that this minimalist shit is dying, but at the same time I'm not exactly excited by its replacement. The like philosophy of this technological and natural harmony is also just really nice on its own. Like, I'm well aware that people in power will never use technology to benefit society because it's not profitable and we reward bad people for some reason, but it's still a nice vision to strive for and imagine. It's supposed to be the future too, but in hindsight, I'd honestly say back then, the 2000s were way more in line with that philosophy than now. And that's just because I feel our relationship with technology was more balanced, and completely by accident. Something we also lost from the 2000s was third places, and that's basically somewhere to socialize that isn't your work or your home, and you ideally don't have to pay for. As a kid, the places I hung out at were like the mall, fast food places, Toys R Us, the Target Pizza Hut cafe, and block parties whenever they'd happen. Those were fun as shit. Now that I've metaphorically pulled out the Master Sword into adult sucky life, I realize how nice that is when everything's expensive, everyone's time crunched, lonely, and probably out of shape. But like malls also, I kinda get why those died. It's just a glorified city block, but food places and stuff? One, they close ridiculously early, even non-third places. Why does my bank close on the weekends? And two, why did we go from this to 10 violations in child labor? This is mainly in reference to it looking like a factory, but it's also McDonald's, so I wouldn't be surprised. But their chicken nuggets still slap. Another thing is, social media back then was way more, social. I feel nostalgic for old Facebook, like pre-2012 Facebook, even though I never used Facebook. It just gives me that vibe of something fun and like this actual tool to be social with other people instead of whatever it is now. I hear it's on some real 1984 Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty type shit, and that applies to the internet, not Facebook. I also actively avoided social media when I was younger, but I did hang out on the Mindplex Engine forums. But the word I'd describe it as was organic. These aren't followers, like, ooh, I'm gonna follow you around. That's weird, stop that. These are friends with their own page to check in for them. It's just truly a shame that besides the few surviving forums, the closest thing we have to that today is, oh god, Reddit. Forums were like tech. They're their own separate websites set up for a natural discussion between human beings as opposed to some scattered comment section for engagement and money go up because we're Reddit. My point is, with all of this, it just respected your time as a human being. Like, I don't care about A's and B's to determine my worth as a human being. Why should I do the same for hearts and replies? Well, You have outside factors influencing that. Maybe it's your parents verbally beating your ass for getting a B instead of an A. I'm half Asian, so I can complain about this. Or maybe it's the siren's call of oversimplification that we can somehow fully gauge our worth to people by a single arbitrary or number or letter, highlighted in red and made really big so I know it's important psychologically. That's messed up. And we know that, but I bet we don't really do anything in response because it's easier to be spoon-fed an answer instead of like detox or something, I don't know. Anyways, other thing I miss. Eating Wendy's every Saturday, some Crunch Bars, grape soda, those ices from 7-Eleven after school, Monster when I was 13. This isn't a good thing, by the way, I just did it because I could get away with it. I do not know how diabetes has not come for my ass right now because it runs in the family. But I mean, I did it. Lastly, as much as I do glaze it, do not get the wrong idea, this era had its flaws too. I was a literal child who grew up sheltered in the burbs. The burbs! I ain't gonna understand a financial crisis and drone striking people in the Middle East. And if I had one and we were somehow in that era again, I would not let my kid on the internet then or even now, because some of you are like really weird. And like the 2000s weren't exactly the most understanding time either to be a guys and gals kisser, so that sucks. And in our school, oh boy. Our high school had us pass through these metal detectors every morning. Why? We all knew why. At least our gym teacher wasn't a pedophile. But okay, real talk, why is it always the gym teacher on some?
Hey sexy, you up? How deep is your throat? I want to murder my wife and shower you in the life insurance payout.
Last point, by the way, tell me if this is a shared experience or not. My parents weren't exactly rich, but I got the impression they weren't nearly as stressed out by daily life back then as they are now. Cause like, we don't have that much money, but we still went on vacations once in a while, and one job was seemingly enough to get them by, and assuming your childhood was decent enough, you have all of them still with you. I miss those times. One I honestly wouldn't trade in for any other time period. I'm just a storytime animator too, but to know what life can be like is important, to be able to imagine what life can be like when even just a bit of it is good. Maybe even nudge it in that direction when it sucks. I don't know where I'm going with this, but there's also other parts I want to talk about from my childhood, but I don't feel like it. Also, and I'll try to keep this around 45 seconds because these are supposed to be short. So 1, I have an Instagram now. I don't use it for anything besides messaging, but it exists. 2, if you need a part 2, well, let me know and I'll make it when I feel like it because I had to cut a lot of things out. 3, your girl sends in her first job application, which was denied, but I mean, it's a start. 4, I've been okay-ish since the last video. It's mainly just getting set up since we also moved and I couldn't say that because I didn't know how public that information is. 5, my sincerest apologies for not reading y'all messages sooner because procrastination, I only read it as of now, which is September 4th, and thank you for not just helping me out, but also giving me some advice for what I can do after this. It's thanks to y'all's support too that I can at least have the option to leave the country now if I need to, which is kind of fucked up, but that is what we were talking about. And finally, I should stop sleeping at 4 a.m. because it is bad for my health, and I need to get myself set up. But yeah, I am Soul, and I will see you later, Kurtz.